I felt that Rayboy knew more than me, that he dared to dream bigger than me. And I hope that when people watch this film, they will also be reminded of that side of them that is not afraid to dream big, even if, Hi Lama Cinema Society. I'm Venice Atienza and I'm the director of Last Days at Sea. Thank you for having our film at your second screening, and thank you for having it as your first screening in the year 2022. Last Days at Sea is my first feature-length documentary film, and it is about a young boy named Rayboy who is about to leave his home to study in the city. We spend his last days of summer in his hometown, and we talk about life, and we begin to understand deeper the kind of life that they have in this small isolated fishing village. One of the things that moved me the most in making this film was I was really moved at how Rayboy saw the world. He understood that life was difficult because of the conditions that their village is in. They are very isolated. They depend on the ocean for survival, for food, but at the same time, the main livelihood is fishing. And so they are very connected to nature in that way. But at the same time, Rayboy is not afraid to dream big, to ask questions, to see beyond what is in his immediate surroundings. And I feel that it is important to listen to one another. This is one of the things that I learned by being with him. Sometimes I felt that Rayboy knew more than me, that he dared to dream bigger than me. And I hope that when people watch this film, they will also be reminded of that side of them that is not afraid to dream big, even if, their dreams can be, judged as naive or, small or impossible even. And another thing that in the beginning, I was really moved by how the people of Karihatag were able to survive the storms. They help each other when needed. They take care of the sea. But then I realized that the reason why they do this, why they help each other, and why they take care of a marine sanctuary near their ocean was because they understood that this was the only way to survive. In Karihatag, since they are isolated, they only had each other. And I think this idea runs, I don't know, like kind of contradictory to how I have always known life, where you try to survive by yourself. Like there's a saying, survival of the fittest. But in Karihatag, survival meant like sticking with each other, banding together. Whether it's against, a typhoon that is coming, or whether it is facing the problem of dwindling fish catch. And I think that was the thing that I was really impressed by. And I realized that Rayboy is able to have deep wishes and big dreams because he knows how difficult life is, but he also knows what is possible because he has seen it in the people around him. And that is one of the things that I hope, people will begin to question or to think about. What does it mean to survive? Is there a way that I can pay attention to the world around me? The challenging parts in making this documentary was when, in the beginning during the filming, Rayboy told me that he wasn't comfortable being filmed from far away. He said, when it is just us and we're together and we're filming closely, he says, it's fine. But when I'm far away and, you're observing me from far away, I feel really awkward. And he told me this. And I think that was the first time that I felt, oh, how am I gonna do this film if I cannot film him in like this typical observational way where the director or the camera is far from the one who is being filmed. So it made me really rethink how we can make this film. And I realized that this was also a blessing because what happened was we formed some kind of closeness that was already there. but it was translated through the camera because of how we filmed it. You know, this limitation of Rayboy not feeling comfortable being filmed from far away allowed me to sit next to him while filming, you know, where he would be very close to me and he would say, okay, look at this, look at that. We would look at the sky together and we would be next to each other. And I think the result of that was this feeling of being next to Rayboy when you're talking. And this, I thought in the beginning was a limitation, but in the end, you know, it actually gave the film its own, how can I say, style. This really feeling of being close to the one who is speaking. Another thing, and this is related to the second thing that I felt was the most difficult, which was when we got to the editing, I saw the kind of footage that we had, and it was quite different from all the films I've watched. You know, I tend to, like, as a filmmaker, there are films that I love and are my favorite films, and I was kind of hoping that maybe I can make something that was kind of close to that. But in the end, I had to grow up to become the person or the director that this film needed. And that's why it took us a lot of time to edit. We reviewed the footage many times. And it was really a lot of, how can I say, self-searching, searching within yourself what really is the thing that moved you and what was the thing that you really want to put in the film. And this was the most difficult and challenging part of making this documentary, but also it was the most fulfilling, because then the film that we made in the end was really close to how it felt to be next to Rayboy. You know, it was really close to what it felt to be in Karihatag and to watch the clouds or to sit by the shore and look at the stars. And I think, you know, it is my hope that because this is the way we filmed it, we are able also to invite the audience to feel the same way, to make them feel what it was like to be there, to actually be there. Filming in Karihatag, a remote village, I met them a long time back in 2014, as I said in the beginning of the film. When we returned, I really wanted to make a different film. I wanted to make a film about the fishing village, and I wanted to make a film about how they were able to survive storms. I wanted to make a film about how they were able to protect the sea. But when I found out that Rayboy was leaving, and he was the one I was closest to in the village. When we arrived, the older people forgot who we were. They forgot our faces, but Rayboy remembered us. And for me also, I felt the closest to him. So it became really more important for me to film, not really, like, to use the film as kind of an excuse to hang out and to be together in these last moments. And I felt that, you know, because we started with this relation with Rayboy, it wasn't so difficult for Rayboy's parents also to, you know, to kind of remember us from a few years back, because Rayboy also was very at ease and was close to us. And I think also because there was no burden of the kind of film we want to make, and the main purpose was to hang out. So it wasn't really about making them want to welcome us. I felt that the film itself was the bridge, was the way for us to be closer. The making of the film, you know, trying to get people involved in the film was actually the thing that built the relationship. And I think it was also kind of magical to be able to use the film as a bridge between two very different people. Rayboy's story of leaving his village to go to study in the city is actually something that happens to a lot of people, my mother included. My mother was from the seaside also. She lives in a small village that is, I think, that was at the end of the railway, like the Philippine National Railway. But the station now is closed, like there are no trains that go to my mother's village anymore. But she was also someone who left home to study in the city. So it happens a lot. There are many people who move to bigger cities just so they can have more opportunities. I know many people who have moved from the seaside or from the countryside to go to the city to study, to look for, for better opportunities. But in the case of Rayboy, Rayboy wanted to stay. And a lot of them would have preferred to stay if they had more chances. Even Rayboy himself, he said that once he's older, he would like to, to grow old in Karihatag. So, yeah, it's a sentiment that is similar to many people. When we were there were also some people who were working abroad, actually, in other countries that were there for holidays. And they miss home as well. Most of the kids in Karihatag would want to go to study. I think everyone really values education, and if there is a chance and if they have the means to go, they would actually go to study in the city. The film Last Days at Sea has gone to many festivals, and in the beginning also it went to many different labs for editing and pitching and story development. I think even before then, I was always really moved whenever I would tell the story of how I met Rayboy and the story that I learned from the people of Karihatag. It's not that the film was special to others, but it was always special to me. And I think, how can I say? It is always special to me. I think I'm just more grateful that people now have more access to it because it's finished, and it's not just something that lives in my mind. It's not just a memory that I hold, but now that it is a film, it is an experience that I can share to others. I think one of the biggest things that changed for me was while we were filming, there were many things that were instinctive to me. But as we edited it, there were many things that were once instinctive, but now became more clear and became more, how can I say, became less of something that I have to catch, but more of something that I realized has always been in me. And I think that was the thing that changed the most for me. I felt that I was really able to, how can I say, to face what it was that moved me about meeting Rayboy in the process of editing. Rayboy's village has changed since filming, but I don't think it had anything to do with the film. I mean, the film creating a gigantic impact in the village. I don't think it has done that yet. I think it will take a lot of time before we see the real impact of the film to the village. But Rayboy's town now has its own internet. They might not have telephone lines, but they have internet. But there is one big problem now, which is since the typhoon in December, they still don't have electricity, and it's already May. So it's been almost 5 months since they've gotten electricity. And we're working with, after the film, and it's been 5 months since they've had electricity. And I think that we would like to bring some more attention to this fact. We are actually visiting Rayboy's village this summer to see how they are and to actually show to the rest of the village the film, because we've shown it to Rayboy and to his uncle and his aunt, but we haven't shown it to the rest of the village. Rayboy right now is studying. He's in high school. He's 16. So back then he was 12 years old. Now he's 16 years old. So it took us quite a long time to finish the film. And now we're on the second year of showing the film around the world. He's okay. We still chat. He likes K-pop. He wants to become an engineer, and he actually really wants to go to university in Manila, to go to one of the big universities in Manila. He's also very much into writing poetry and writing songs, and we talk like really often. So I'm quite excited to see him again when I visit him in the next couple of weeks. Right now, I'm working as a producer for a Taiwanese director named Fan Wu, and this film is also a documentary, and it is centered on the friendship between Fan and her Chinese friend, an improvisation artist, and their questions on womanhood and agency and how one can build their own life. And right now we're in the editing stage, so I'm quite excited to share that to the world when it is ready. I would like to thank everyone for watching the film. It has always been surprising for me when people watch the film and they take something out of it that I didn't expect was possible. And I just hope that when you watch the film, you will be able to see something of yourself and you can make it your own. If you have anything that you want to share, please write to us or share to Laman Cinema Society your thoughts. And I would like to learn more how you viewed the film. So thank you very much.